Terminator 2 Judgement Day is undoubtedly one of the greatest sci-fi action movies ever made. It's a film that builds on the premise of the first film by exploring the themes of man's fear of technology, parental responsibility, and the concept of fate versus free will. It does so, in my opinion, in much greater depth than the 1984 original, which is a classic movie in its own right. It is particularly the exploration of fate versus free will that I want to look at in this video. There are several key scenes that really look into this specific theme.
Get this thing off of me! Let me go!
First of all, we learn fairly early on that the T-800, sent back to protect John Connor, must also do whatever John commands, having been reprogrammed by John in the future before being sent back in time to carry out his mission. The T-800 in this very instance becomes the representation of man without free will. He is the essence of fate, a life set on a path outside of his control, free only to make choices set by the parameters of his programming. Even the decision to sacrifice himself at the end of the film is merely an adherence to his programming to protect John at all costs. He says himself that he knows why John cries, but it is something that he can never do. Ironically, as Sarah Connor herself points out, it is this lack of free will that makes the Terminator the perfect father figure. It will never hurt John, it will never leave him or tell him it's too busy to spend time with him. Of all the would-be fathers that came and went over the years, this machine is the only one who measured up. In an insane world, it was the sanest choice. It is this dichotomy of a machine's rigid programming versus mankind's free will that is most illuminating. It highlights the responsibility that we all have to make the right choices. It's also the very thing that truly marks John Connor out as a hero and the right man to eventually lead the resistance against the machines. When Sarah sets out to kill Miles Bennett Dyson, the man responsible for the creation of Skynet, it is John who rushes to stop her, believing that it is wrong to take a human life, no matter what is at stake. Even when the T-800 points out that killing Dyson would be the most logical course of action, John is determined to find another way. It is John's willingness to make these kind of choices, using his God-given free will, that will ultimately bring hope to mankind. As a result, the film is a call to us all to acknowledge that in order for mankind to have the ability to make the right choices, he must also have the freedom to make the wrong choices. Paul says in Galatians chapter 5 verse 13 to 15, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbour as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other." When John sees two children play fighting with toy guns, he remarks to the T-800, "We're not going to make it, are we? Humans, I mean." The T-800 responds by saying, "It is in your nature to destroy yourselves." But unlike the T-800, we are not bound by programming. We are free to make choices that betray our nature. Ultimately, we can blame God for all that is wrong in the world, asking why he doesn't stop all the evil that exists. Or we can be thankful that we have the freedom to make choices that impact the world around us, for better or worse. But once you recognize that you have that freedom, what will you decide to do with it?